UFC Fight Night Korean Zombie versus Dan Ige. 12 fights on the entire fight card. The main event, Chan Sung-jung and Dan Ige. Absolute banger. I already know that fight is going to be an absolute war for 5 rounds, or Chan Sung-jung is going to land a big shot in the first round and get the knockout win. I'm hoping, really, like keeping my fingers crossed that this fight goes the distance, or maybe we see a late finish from Chan Sung-jung, but that fight is an absolute banger. Cannot wait for that main event. The co-main event, Olynyk and Sergey Spivak. Interesting fight right there. You never know with the guy, even though he's 43, 44 years old, you never know with Olynyk. Taking on an uppercomer, I believe 26, 27 years old in Sergey Spivak, who has pretty good wrestling, and obviously going to have better striking right there. Marlon Vera and Davey grant a rematch. Julian Rosa and Seungwoo Choi in a featherweight fight. Bruno Silva, lots and lots of power right there. How many knockouts? 16 knockouts. That's going to be another fight you cannot miss right there. Lots of power between both fighters right there in the middleweight division. Diego Lima and Matt Brown. Really hoping Matt Brown wins that one because I want to see some legend fights in the welterweight division with Matt Brown in it. Nick Negumereanu and then Aleksandar, if I am saying that last name correctly, in the light heavyweight division. Verena and Kanaka Murata. A wrestler in Kanaka Murata and a grappler in Verena. So you never know with a fight like that because we saw the Mackenzie Dern and Verena fight. They're both really good grapplers, so it was a striking fight because their grappling and wrestling kind of canceled each other out. But right here, it's a wrestler and grappler, a little bit different. You don't know if Kanaka Murata is going to be able to dominate on top and just defend those submissions from Verena on bottom. So that's an interesting fight in the women's strawweight division. Matt Semmelsberger and Chaos Williams in the welterweight division. Power. We got Josh Parisian and Roki Martinez. Length. That's all I got to say right there. 79 inches and 6 foot 4 inches tall. Incredible height and incredible reach disparity right there. We got Joaquin Silva and Ricky Glenn. Both guys haven't fought in like 2.5 years, and then almost 2 years right there. Absolutely insane. And then Procopio and Casey ONeil in a women's flyweight fight. 50-51 right there. But overall, UFC Fight Night Korean Zombie versus Dan Ige. Really good fight card. Hype for the main event. Hype for a lot of the fights on the prelim. So, should be a really good fight card. But let's get into the first fight on the fight card right here. This fight in the flyweight division. Procopio and Casey ONeil in the women's flyweight division. Procopio, 7 wins and 1 loss. 25 and a half years old. A little bit less in the height department and a little bit less in the reach department right there. So, of course, in the striking game, Casey ONeil is going to need to stay at range and not let Procopio close that distance and even get to the clinch, because if that does happen, I'm sorry to say, Procopio is faster, more powerful than Casey ONeil. So in the pocket, in the clinch, everything like that, Procopio will have the advantage. So Casey ONeil needs to stay away from that. But you already know exactly what Casey ONeil wants to do right here with those 6 wins and 0 losses, only being 23 and a half years old. She wants the fight to be on the ground. She wants to wrestle. She wants to grapple. Look for that ground and pound. 2 second round knockout wins due to ground and pound in a row, and then a rear naked choke submission. So it's pretty clear what Casey ONeil wants to do right here. Procopio also has very good wrestling and very good grappling as well. So I'm curious to see if that's going to cancel each other out and this fight does stay on the feet. If it does stay on the feet, I'm going to give the slight edge to Procopio to win the fight by decision. If the fight goes to the ground, it's very even because Procopio has better wrestling, but Casey ONeil has better grappling. So it's a pretty 50-50 fight on the grappling game, but there is that edge in the striking game for Procopio right there. So it's a close one. I mean, it could go either way. Casey ONeil is undefeated. Procopio is almost undefeated with her only loss by split decision to Rosa right there. But I think this fight is gonna stay on the feet. There will be moments, of course, where we will see some grappling and wrestling from both fighters. But I think for the most part, the fight will stay on the feet. And Procopio has much more volume, much better pressure. Is a faster striker, a more powerful striker. And if she just closes that distance, gets a fight to the clinch, I think she could land a lot more shots than Casey ONeil right here. So my prediction is Procopio winning in the striking game. Something you don't really hear too often, man. I mean, mostly Lara Procopio goes out there, wrestles and grapples for the win, but right here, I think she's going to strike for the win. My prediction is Lara Procopio winning this fight by a decision, 29-28, keeping the fight super even in the grappling and wrestling, and then winning in the striking game with a lot of volume, a lot of pressure, and a lot of combinations in the clinch as well. So that's the main way I see her winning. That is my prediction, Lara Procopio winning the fight by decision. Really 50-50 fight right here. This is one where it's pretty much dog or pass. I mean, the odds right now, -146 for Lara, and then +133 for Casey O'Neill. It's really dog or pass. I think this is a 50-50 fight. If I had to put the odds on the table, I would have Lara Procopio around -115, and then Casey O'Neill at -105. I think it's really 50-50, so this fight is dog or pass 100%. If you're going to bet, only bet Casey O'Neill, and if you're going to bet, of course, bet them by decision, because Casey O'Neill winning the fight by decision, amazing value at +300. Absolutely insane value right there. And then Procopio by decision, pretty much even money odds right there. So either way, if you're going to be betting on either one of the fighters, bet them winning the fight by decision. I do think the fight will go all the way. I do think Procopio will have the better striking, the better volume, the better pressure, and win the fight in the striking game, keeping the fight even in the grappling, and win the fight by decision. So I mean, +110 is not bad. I'd probably take that just on a straight bet on Procopio by decision. But if you're feeling confident in O'Neill winning the fight, +300 is looking really juicy right there. But my prediction is Lara Procopio winning that fight by decision. Should be a really good fight in the women's flyweight division right there. Joaquin Silva and Ricky Glenn in the lightweight division right here. The first thing I gotta say, Ricky Glenn has not fought in 2.5 years. Joaquin Silva has not fought in 1 year and 10 months. These guys are taking a really long layoff, so you never know if they're going to have really big improvements to their game or if they got really worse. You just don't know that type of stuff. So with this type of fight, and it is a 50-50 fight on the betting odds, and they haven't fought in 2 years, 2.5 years for Ricky Glenn, it's one of those where you just don't know where both fighters are at in their career, at in their training, how good they are in their grappling, wrestling, striking, whatever the case may be. So I'll say it right now, I'm not going to be betting on this one. There's no way I would recommend you betting on this fight because you just never know with guys that have not been fighting for 2 years and 2.5 years. But my prediction for the fight is going to be Joaquin Silva. I think this fight will stay on the feet. Ricky Glenn being a lot lengthier and a lot taller with a 4-inch height advantage and a 1.5-inch reach advantage. I don't really care. He's not as fast as Joaquin Silva, not as powerful as Joaquin Silva. I think Joaquin Silva moves forward, backs Ricky Glenn against the cage, and then starts unleashing combinations, lots of pressure and lots of volume from Joaquin Silva right there. I do think Ricky Glenn could win the fight if he wrestles and grapples, but I really don't. He hasn't fought in 2.5 years, so you don't know where his wrestling and grappling is, but that would be the main way he would win the fight, would be in the wrestling and grappling. I just don't see him implementing that wrestling and grappling game. I think this fight stays on the feet for 3 straight rounds, and I think one of these two guys will win the decision, and that man would be Joaquin Silva by 29-28 decision win. He's striking a lot better, a lot more powerful than Ricky Glenn, the bigger fighter staying up at lightweight, where Ricky Glenn is moving from featherweight to the lightweight division, so he's going to have the size advantage, the power advantage, the speed advantage, and if he just closes that distance, he's going to win the fight. So that's exactly what I think is going to happen. Again, would not advise betting on the fight. I mean, super even fight, -118 and then +120. I mean, you got a little arbitrage betting right there, but either way, would not bet on the fight. That's all I really have to say. But my prediction, Joaquin Silva pressuring the heck out of Ricky Glenn in the striking game, landing combinations, and just overall winning a very dominant decision win in a lot of pressure and volume on Ricky Glenn. The reason I don't want to bet on the fight is you never know if Ricky Glenn is going to wrestle and grapple, because if he does, of course he could definitely win the fight, but from what I'm seeing right now, I don't think he's going to use that wrestling and grappling. I think the fight will stay on the feet, and my prediction, Joaquin Silva winning the fight by unanimous decision win right there. Should be a really good fight in the lightweight division right there. Josh Parisian and Roki Martinez. First thing is first. Josh Parisian, 79 inch reach and a 6'4" height. Roki Martinez, 5 foot 10 inches tall, and he's 72 inches. Of course, Josh Parisian needs to get the fight at range, use that height, and use that reach, and just kind of pick him apart at range. It's pretty obvious exactly what Josh Parisian needs to do. He's got a lot of power, 10 knockout wins, and I believe 1 submission win and 2 decisions. So 2 submission wins and 1 decision win right there. Of course, I think the fight will be staying on the feet. Roki Martinez, his best chance of winning would be in the clinch and on the ground, because of course that reach and height is going to play a huge factor at range. So in the clinch, I think he could do a lot of good damage on Josh Parisian with some good elbows, kind of tire him out a little bit with the wrestling. That's the main way I see him, when you just kind of get in the fight to the clinch and having more of a wrestling, grappling, and heavy offense. Lots of ground and pound if he does get the fight down. But this is one of those where you see the odds minus 130 and then plus 110. I don't know. I'm going to say right now, I do have Josh Parisian winning the fight, but we saw the last time around with Parker Porter. Nobody thought Parker Porter was going to win that fight, and he went out there and won the fight. So, I don't know if I would bet on this one. I think if you're going to be betting on Josh Parisian, I don't know if you bet. I don't know if you'd bet knockout right here, and I don't know if you'd even bet on the fight, because Roki Martinez again could go out there and wrestle, grapple, and ground and pound for 3 straight rounds for the decision win. But who knows? It's a close fight in my opinion. A lot of people, I mean, the tabloid predictions, of course, 89% going Parisian. I don't agree that it should be that wide of a margin. I would not agree of putting a parlay on Josh Parisian, because you never know with the wrestling and grappling of Roki. I mean, he's not necessarily a really good wrestler or a really good grappler, but he could get the fight down ever so slightly every now and then in the fight. So that's why I'm very cautious in telling you guys to bet on Josh Parisian right there. I do think he will win the fight, and the odds right now are that's not actually too bad. Minus 122 for Josh Parisian. My prediction is going to be Josh Parisian by decision. I think he keeps the fight on the feet at range, uses the height and uses that reach. 1-2, leg kicks, body kicks, all the type of thing. Just keeps the fight at range and just outstrikes Roki Martinez by. Again, don't bet on the fight. Do not bet on this fight, because Roki Martinez, in the clinch and in the ground, in the wrestling game, he does have the advantage. So, don't bet on the fight, but my prediction, Josh Parisian winning the fight in a very, very close decision win in the striking game at range, using that height and using that reach. Decision win for Josh Parisian right there. Should be a really, really good fight in the heavyweight division right there. Matthew Semelsberger and Chaos Williams in the welterweight division. Matthew Semelsberger and Chaos Williams have a lot of power. I mean, obviously the power advantage would be going to Chaos. Of course, Chaos in his name, of course, is going to have a lot more power than Matthew Semelsberger right here. He's going to have the reach advantage as well. 11 wins and 2 losses, coming off some knockout wins over Alex Morono and Abdul Razak Hassan. Before that, absolutely on a tear with 5 knockout wins, 2 submission wins, and 4 decision wins. But in his last fight with Michel Baheda, kind of got dominated on the outside, but he did land a lot of good shots. It was pretty close in the striking game right there. But this fight with Matthew Semelsberger and Chaos Williams, I think will stay on the feet. I think Matthew Semelsberger's main way of winning the fight would be in the wrestling game. He did go to, I believe he went to high school, and I'm not too sure, but he was a football player in high school, and I believe maybe in college, has some pretty good wrestling. I believe he wrestled in high school as well, but that would be his main way of winning. We saw the fight with Carlton Minus. We didn't really get to see much with Jason Wade, but we saw the fight with Carlton Minus, where Matthew Semelsberger was implementing a lot of wrestling and a lot of ground and pound. That's going to be the main way to win the fight, because Chaos Williams, you never want to test yourself with a guy like Chaos Williams on the feet. Of course, Matthew Semelsberger can win the fight on the feet. He does have some pretty good power as well. But if the fight stays on the feet, I'm going to say it right now, Chaos Williams is going to crack him and probably knock him out. So Matthew Semelsberger, wrestle and ground and pound for 3 straight rounds for the decision win. That's what you got to do. Do not strike with Chaos Williams. Because if you do, you just never know with that power that Chaos Williams does possess. It's a closer fight than the betting odds do suggest. I would not bet Chaos Williams. I think this is another fight where it's dog or pass. And if you're going to be choosing Matthew Semelsberger to win the fight, I'd probably do him by decision. The betting odds on Semelsberger winning the fight by decision are really, really good. Plus 320 right there. I think that's amazing, amazing value. Other than that bet right there, I would not bet on the fight, because Chaos Williams, all he really has is that power on the feet. And if Matthew Semelsberger gets him down with the wrestling and with the ground and pound, he can definitely win the fight. So I would not bet on the favorite in Chaos Williams, unless you're going to do Chaos Williams by knockout, which I believe right now is, what are those odds right now? Plus, that's not even that good. Plus 125 isn't really that good. So personally, the only bet I would make on the fight would be Matthew Semelsberger by decision at plus 300, plus 320. I think he can wrestle and grapple and ground and pound for 3 straight rounds for the decision win right here. My overall prediction, very, very slightly going KS Williams to win the fight by knockout in the second round. I'm not confident. I'm not confident in this prediction. I know there's a lot of things to be made with Matthew Semelsberger's wrestling. So who knows? I'm going to say it again. Do not bet KS Williams. I think that's a little bit too much. Personally, I think the odds should be around minus 135, minus 120, somewhere around that range for KS Williams. Better striker, a lot more powerful than Matthew Semelsberger, but that wrestling does concern me a little bit. My prediction overall, KS Williams will win in the fight by second round knockout. Again, do not bet on the fight, but should be a really, really good fight in the welterweight division right there. Verena Jandiroba and Kanaka Murata in the women's strawweight division. Kanaka Murata, really, really good wrestling, really good ground and pound, and some decent submission skills. 12 wins and 1 loss. A wrestler 100%. You look right here, 4 submission wins and 2 knockout wins, both from ground and pound, and 6 decision wins right there. Verena Jandiroba, a grappler by heart, lost to submission wins. Right here, let's see, 13 submission wins and 3 decision wins. It's pretty clear exactly where both fighters want the fight to go, and that would be to the ground, because the striking, I really don't know who's going to have the striking advantage. I maybe give a slight edge to Verena Jandiroba in the striking game, but in the wrestling and in the grappling, I think Kanaka Murata is a lot stronger, has better ground and pound, and the wrestling, of course, she could go out there, just defend the submissions from the bottom of Verena Jandiroba and just dominate on top with the wrestling and with that ground and pound to a decision win. That's the main way I see her winning the fight. In the striking game, again, I do think Verena will have the advantage, and if the fight stays in the feet, she'll probably win the fight by decision, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think Kanaka Murata is going to move forward with takedown, and takedown, over and over and over again. Eventually, she's going to get her down. Eventually, she's going to get on top, ground and pounding and ground and pounding and ground and pounding. So, my prediction right here is going to be a close one. I think it's a 50-50, minus 110, minus 110 fight right here with Verena Jandiroba and Kanaka Murata. Of course, Verena Jandiroba could get a submission win. Very, very good arm bars, rear nakeds, arm triangle. I mean, whatever submission you can think of, she's very, very good at that. But I think Kanaka Murata goes out there, gets on top, ground and pound, ground and pound, ground and pound, and just defends the submissions from the bottom from Verena Jandiroba en route to a decision win. So my prediction right here for Verena Jandiroba and Kanaka Murata is going to be Kanaka Murata out wrestling and out ground and pounding Verena Jandiroba for 3 straight rounds, winning the fight by decision, and she is an underdog right there. I know there's definitely a good chance she could, Verena Jandiroba could go out there and just win the fight in the grappling game and get the fight back up on the feet where she does have the advantage and just win the fight that way, but I think Kanaka Murata gets the fight down and wrestles and ground and pounds and wins the fight by decision. Let's see right here. I'm looking for the betting odds. I might be blind. There it is. So Kanaka Murata plus 130 and then minus 127 for Verena Jandiroba. I really doubt Kanaka Murata is going to get a TKO on Verena. I really doubt she's going to get a submission on Verena. I mean, if Mackenzie Dern can't get a submission on Verena or a ground and pound TKO, I really doubt Kanaka could. So I think this one is pretty much a lock to go all the way. I think this fight is definitely going to be a decision if Kanaka Murata wins. If Verena Jandiroba wins the fight, I do think that would be by submission. But right now, Kanaka Murata odds on her winning by decision, honestly not too bad. Plus 175 right there. Honestly not too bad. The odds on her just straight up winning the fight. Plus 130 right there. So plus 175 on Murata winning by decision is the only real bet I would make. That is exactly what I think is going to happen. So plus 175 for Kanaka Murata by decision. Very, very good value. Again, I think she out-wrestles, out-grapples, not necessarily, like, out-grapples her, like, in the submission game, but just out-grapples her on top and controls Verena Jandiroba for 3 straight rounds. But yeah, that's my prediction. Kanaka Murata winning that fight. A 30-27 unanimous decision win right there. Should be a really, really good fight in the women's strawweight division right there. Alexa Kimura and Nick Negumeranu. I don't know if I'm saying that last name correct, but either way, Nick Negumeranu, however you say the name, wants the fight to hit them at ASAP. 9 wins and 1 loss. Those 9 wins not against the best competition. 10-14, 2-16, 7-6. I mean, a little bit better, but still. 12-42. Oh my god. 3-3, 2-2, 0-2, 0-1, and 1-4. Every single loss is to an absolute bum, and then one loss who Saparbeg stuff out of right there by unanimous decision. I mean, what can I say? I mean, he hasn't beat any real competition. I mean, he has shown some pretty good wrestling, some pretty good grappling, getting a lot of submission wins and a lot of ground upon TKOs. Just not against really good competition. We saw the last fight with Aleksandar. Beating William Knight won that fight due to the wrestling and grappling. That's what makes me a little bit skeptical on Nick Negumereanu right here. He is a wrestler and a grappler, and that is exactly how William Knight won the fight last time around. So, of course, there's a good opportunity for a guy like Nick Negumereanu to win the fight in the wrestling and grappling game. He hasn't beat anyone. I mean, literally all 9 wins against absolute bums. So I think in this fight, Aleksandar will defend the takedowns, keep the fight on the feet, and obviously has much better striking than Nick Negumereanu right here. So I think the fight goes all the way, and then Aleksandar goes out there, outstrikes him, defends the takedowns, keeps the fight on the feet, and overall wins this fight by unanimous decision win, 30-27 on all judges' scorecards. Yeah, there's a good chance he could get a knockout. That's why I probably wouldn't do a prop bet on Aleksandar by decision, or even a prop bet on him winning by knockout. Because it is a very good likelihood he could get the knockout. Very good likelihood he could win the fight by decision with 5 knockouts and 1 decision win right there. My overall prediction: Aleksandar winning that fight by decision. Let's check the betting odds right now. Minus 233. It's a little bit up there. The odds once were at minus 275. This is actually the best you can get them at. This is the best the odds have ever been. Minus 248. I don't know. I don't know if that's that the price tag warrants a minus 230, minus 250. I'm not too sure. Let's see. What was the value on Aleksandar by decision? Let's see. Kimura by decision, honestly, not too bad. That would be the only bet I would make. Kimura by decision. I don't like just a straight bet on minus 233. It's a little bit too much, because you never know with the Negumereanu. He could go out there, out-wrestle, out-grapple, and out-ground upon for 3 straight rounds. You just never know with a guy like Negumereanu. So, I just wouldn't do that straight bet on minus 233. The only bet I would make would be a Kimura winning by decision at plus 140. I think that's some pretty decent value considering the fight most likely will go all the way. So my prediction right there, Aleksandar winning that fight by decision, and that would be the only bet. That's the only bet I would really make right there. So Aleksandar winning that fight by 30-27, 30-27, and 30-27 unanimous decision win right there. Should be a really good fight in the light heavyweight division right there. Diego Lima and Matt Brown in the welterweight division. Matt Brown, 40 and a half years old right there. Of course, the age will play a factor, but the experience that Matt Brown has gained with 22 wins and 18 losses, that's a lot of experience right there, but he's going to be a little bit smaller and a little bit less lengthy than Diego Lima right here. Matt Brown, 22 wins, 18 losses. Again, lots and lots of experience. 16 knockout wins, 6 submissions, 2 decision wins, absolutely insane. 11 submission losses and 3 knockout losses right there. In this fight, I do think it will stay on the feet. It will be a striking fight between Diego Lima and Matt Brown. I think Diego Lima is a little bit better in all facets of the striking game. He's faster than Matt Brown. He's more powerful than Matt Brown. I mean, of course, he has a lot of knockouts, but at this stage in his career, I think Diego Lima is a little bit more powerful than Matt Brown is right here. So he has the power, he has the speed, he has the height, he has the reach, he has all these type of things. So right here, I think Diego Lima will be on the front foot, moving forward, landing combinations and just using that height, using that reach to land combinations on Matt Brown. I think the fight will go all the way. My prediction is going to be Diego Lima winning the fight by decision. You can never count out a guy like Matt Brown. He's so tough, so durable. He has been finished a lot in his career, but he has a lot of heart, and he puts it out there every single time right there. But I think this fight is going to go all the way. Diego Lima, I think, will win the fight by decision in the striking game, with the height, with the reach, with the speed, and with the power. All of those type of things going in his favor right there. Let's check the betting odds. Minus 157 for Diego Lima. Do they have any decision prop bets? Lima wins by decision. I think either way, this is one where I probably do one of them winning by decision. It is 50-50 on if it's going to be a decision win, but Diego Lima, out of his 15 wins and 8 losses right there, only 4 knockout wins, and if he's going to get the finish, it probably would be on the feet by KO or TKO, so I think the fight is going to go all the way. Again, the only bets I would make would be Lima by decision at plus 150. 150 or Brown by decision, which is absolutely insane at plus 350 right there. But my overall prediction is Diego Lima winning the fight by decision, plus 150 right there. Should be a really, really good fight in the welterweight division right there. Wellington Turman and Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva has a lot of power in his hands. Out of 19 wins and 6 losses, 16 KO, TKO wins, and only 3 fights going all the way. That's a lot of power right there. That shows a lot of power. And then in his last 2 fights, knocking out Artem Frolov and Aleksandar Shlemenko. A lot of people don't really know Bruno Silva, but he's been knocking out some really good fighters like Artem Frolov and Aleksandar Shlemenko, who I do think are UFC caliber type of fighters. But, 16 knockouts and 3 decisions. Oh my god. And then you got Wellington Turman, 24 years old, same height right there. But this man needs to get the fight to the ground ASAP. He needs to wrestle and needs to grapple and land that ground pound. Because in the striking game, I'm sorry to say, Bruno Silva will knock you out 100%. Wellington Turman, wrestle, grapple, ground pound for the decision win, or maybe get a submission win before that. But 7 submissions, 4 knockout wins, and 5 decision wins. Most of these knockouts by grounding pound knockouts. So, of course, Wellington Turman, get the fight to the mat, ground and pound, look for the submission, and just win the decision, or finish the fight on the ground, or something like that. Because in the striking game, Bruno Silva is probably going to knock you out. But it's an interesting one because, of course, Wellington Turman gets the fight down. He's going to win the fight. Bruno Silva keeps the fight up. He's going to win the fight. It's one of those type of ones. Wow, 82% going Silva by knockout. That's probably what I would be betting on, would be Silva by knockout. The betting odds, let's see right here. Bruno Silva minus 132, and then Bruno Silva by knockout plus 200. Love those odds right there. Silva by knockout plus 200. And if you look at the losses from Wellington Turman right there, out of his 4 losses, knockout loss right there. The only 1 knockout loss, but still, that was his last fight with Andrew Sanchez. He's not a knockout guy. 12 wins, 6 losses. This guy is not a guy that goes out there and tries to knock you out. He's a wrestler. So if he's getting knocked out by a wrestler in Andrew Sanchez, he's going to get knocked out by Bruno Silva. So right here, my prediction is Bruno Silva going out there, landing a big right hand, and getting the knockout win in the first or second round. The only bet I would make would be Bruno Silva by knockout right there. Should be a really, really good fight in the middleweight division right there. Julian Rosa and Seungwoo Choi in the featherweight division. Julian Rosa, 25 wins and 8 losses. Very, very slight underdog right there. Seungwoo Choi, 9 wins and 3 losses. A lot of experience for Julian Rosa. I mean, he fought way back in the day on Conor McGregor's season of The Ultimate Fighter back in 2015. Got a lot of wins and then lost to the greatest of all time, Artem Lobov right there. But lots of finishes, 11 knockouts and 11 submission wins with only 6 fights going all the way. 5 knockout losses and 4 decision losses right there. Julian Rosa throws a lot of volume in his fights. That's the main way I see him winning. I think this fight will go all the way. I think either way, if Julian Rosa will win, or if Seungwoo Choi will win, it would probably be by decision. But Julian Rosa, with the volume, I believe he lands 5.2 or 5.3 strikes per minute. And then Seungwoo Choi only around 3.5 or 3.6, somewhere around the range, but a lot more volume from Julian Rosa. But still, the striking defense for Seungwoo Choi, let's just pull that up right now. The striking defense for Seungwoo Choi is really, really good. I believe he only gets hit 2.5 times per minute, which is really, really good right there. 2.5 strikes absorbed per minute. 3.2 strikes landed per minute, but you see the strikes landed per minute differential right there. A lot more volume going for Julian Rosa right here, but I think Seungwoo Choi is a little bit more powerful. The wrestling and grappling could play a part right here. I think the wrestling and grappling advantage would probably go Julian Rosa, but I think the fight is gonna stay on the feet. If Julian Rosa can mix in the wrestling here and there, I'd probably go on Julian Rosa to win the fight by decision, but if the fight stays on the feet, Seungwoo Choi just needs to up that volume. If he can up the volume, because I do think he's going to land a lot more powerful strikes than Julian Rosa. I think if he can up that volume to around 4.2, 4.3 strikes per minute, I think Seungwoo Choi could win the fight by decision right here. Really 50-50 fight, minus 130 and then plus 105. Could go either way. This is another one, dogger pass in my opinion. Julian Rosa plus 105. The betting odds right now really good, plus 128. I would definitely hop on that if you're on Sportsbet. That is really good odds right there. Again, it's dog or pass in my opinion. I think the fight will go all the way. But I'm not confident in going out there saying Julian Rosa by decision or Seungwoo Choi by decision. I think it's going to go all the way, but I would not bet on it going all the way. So I'd probably just do a straight bet on Julian Rosa at plus 128. Depending on what bookie you are on, if it's not over plus 120, I'd probably stay away from it. 120 and above, that's kind of the mark I'd probably set it at for Julian Rosa winning the fight right here. But overall, my prediction for the fight is going to be very simple. I think Julian Rosa is going to keep the fight very even on the feet, out volume Seungwoo Choi on the feet very slightly, and have a little bit better wrestling and grappling, and I think that will be enough to get him the win I think the wrestling and grappling will be enough to get him the win by decision right here. The striking, very even, but the grappling, slight edge for Julian Rosa. So, I think Julian out volumes him on the feet and out grapples him on the ground as well. So, my prediction right here, the underdog in Julian Rosa, and the betting odds amazing, plus 128. So my prediction, Julian Rosa winning the fight by decision, and I probably do a small sprinkle on the underdog right here, and Julian Rosa winning that fight right there. It should be a really good fight in the featherweight division right there. Marlon Cheeto Vera and Davey Grant in the bantamweight division, a rematch. It doesn't say it's a rematch right here. I'm not too sure why. But back in 2016, Davey Grant won the fight against Marlon Vera by decision. Things are a lot different than it was back then in 2016. Of course, Marlon Vera at that time was only 23 years old, and Davey Grant was 31 in the prime of his MMA career. But right here, this fight will stay on the feet. I expect zero grappling or zero wrestling right here. Marlon Vera, 18 wins, 7 losses, and 1 draw. Most of his wins are by submission. Of course, he's very good grappling and very good wrestling, but I think this fight is gonna stay on the feet. Marlon Cheeto Vera, deadly leg kicks, of course, and very good combination striking. The faster striker, in my opinion. The faster striker, the better leg kicks, and the better combination striking as well. So right here, Davey Grant, in my opinion, his only hope of winning the fight would be to land another overhand right or another left hook or something like that. Every single one of his last 3 fights, I've been talking about this a lot. 11 wins and 4 losses, 3 wins in a row. All of them, he was the underdog in. I don't know how that happened. Plus 150 right there against Grigorieva, against Martin Day, plus 120, and then most recently against Jonathan Martinez, plus 250. I don't know, he's one of those guys where you never want to bet against him after those 3 underdog wins in a row. Personally, I'm not betting against him because, 2 knockout wins on Martin Day and then Jonathan Martinez. I'm not betting against him. He's not necessarily a striker, but he does possess a lot of power in that left hand, especially recently. But right here, his main way of winning, of course, would be by knockout in the first or second round. If the fight goes all the way, Marlon Cheeto Vera, the better striker, better volume, better pressure, better combinations, the faster striker, better leg kicks, better body kicks. There's just a lot of things going in Marlon Vera's favor right here. Again, the only way Davey Grant, in my opinion, wins would be by knockout, and because that's the only way he could win the fight, in my opinion, I really don't know if I'm gonna bet on Marlon Cheeto Vera right here because we saw so many underdog wins already. I'm not comfortable putting a lot of money on Marlon Vera right here as a minus 250 favorite. But let's check what Marlon Vera is by decision. Let's check it right here. Let's see. So minus 196 isn't really too bad, especially from like minus 270 as it was in the last couple of days. That was just absolutely nuts. But right now, minus 196 isn't really too bad. But the odds on Marlon Vera by decision, let's check what that is right here. Vera by decision. Wow, that is honestly not too bad. Plus 190 for Vera by decision, and then Grant by knockout, plus 500. So those are the only 2 bets I made. Grant by knockout, plus 500. Amazing odds right there. And then Vera by decision, plus 190. I think if Vera's going to win, it would be by decision. And if Grant would win the fight, it would be by knockout right there. But really good fight. My overall prediction is going to be Marlon Cheeto Vera. Just out-volume him. Landing a lot of combinations, leg kicks, body kicks, the faster striker, the not necessarily the more powerful striker, but just overall the better striker than Davey Grant right here. I think the fight goes all the way. My prediction, Marlon and Cheeto Vera winning the fight by 30-27. 30-27, and 30-27 unanimous decision win right there. Should be a really good fight in the bantamweight division right there. Olynyk and Sergey Spivak in the heavyweight division. Of course, Aleksandar Olynyk always dangerous on the ground with 59 wins, 15 losses, and 1 draw. The man has a lot of experience and a lot of submission and ground and pound knockout wins right there. 8 knockout wins, every single one of those knockouts by ground and pound knockout. 46 submission wins. How the heck is that happening? But 9 knockout losses right there. But it's pretty clear exactly what Aleksandar Olynyk is trying to do. Get the fight down, get an Ezekiel, get a rear naked, get a triangle. Just get a submission. That's what he's going to try to do. He's going to have that reach, and his only striking is an overhand right. That is it, and he's not necessarily looking to land the overhand, just looking to back you up and land the takedown, get you down, grapple you, and get the submission. That's just what Aleksandar does. He's the bow constrictor for a reason. Get you down, squeeze you, make you tap, make you go to sleep, make you break an arm, whatever the case may be, get that tab on your opponent. Always dangerous, always dangerous right here by his opponent, a very good prospect, only 26 years old. Of course. I mean, it's very obvious. Of course, Sergey Spivak is going to have that striking advantage with 12 wins and 2 losses. Everyone is going to have the striking advantage on Aleksandar Olynyk, of course. But right here, Sergey Spivak does have very good wrestling as well. I think he will defend the takedowns from Aleksandar Olynyk, keep the fight on the feet, and just beat him in the striking game. So my prediction right here, Sergey Spivak defending the takedowns, keeping the fight on the feet, and everyone is better than Aleksandar Olynyk in the striking game. So, of course, my prediction is Sergey Spivak winning the fight by decision right there. Should be a really good fight in the heavyweight division right there. Chan Sung Jung and Dan Ige right here in the featherweight division. 5 rounds of absolute chaos, man. I really hope this fight goes all the way, because you already know if a Chan Sung Jung fight goes all the way, it's going to be a banger. We saw the fight with Yair Rodriguez. We saw the fight with Brian Ortega. I mean, that fight was pretty good as well, but the man puts on a show every single time he goes out there, and especially if it's a 5-round fight, and it goes 5 rounds. Chan Sung Jung, lots of power in his hands, really good finishing abilities with every single win inside the UFC, by knockout or submission right there. 6 knockout wins, 8 submission wins, and 2 decision wins right there. I think Chan Sung Jung has a very good possibility of getting another first round knockout win. Of course, Dan Ige also has a good possibility of getting another first round knockout win right here. But I'm going to say it right now, unpopular opinion, I think this fight goes all the way. Or, I think the fight goes all the way, or Chan Sung Jung gets a late finish. I don't know. I know it's a very unpopular opinion to say a fight with Chan Sung Jung and Dan Ige is going to go all the way. But that's what I think is going to happen. I think Chan Sung Jung, his main possibility of winning the fight by knockout would be in the 1st or in the 5th round. Early on in the fight or very late on in the fight. Of course, he's going to be playing more of a counter-puncher game. Dan Ige needs to close that distance and land his combinations in the clinch and inside the pocket to win the fight. But that's kind of playing into the game plan of Chan Sung Jung, because Dan Ige is going to have to come to him and land those combinations that he's usually looking to land, and Chan Sung Jung is going to love it. He's going to move back and counter him with the right hand over and over again. And the counter-punching at Chan Sung Jung, I really love. So right here, Dan Ige is going to be moving forward, and Chan Sung Jung is just going to keep on countering him. I don't think we'll see any wrestling or grappling here. Dan Ige does have some pretty good wrestling, some pretty good grappling. So does Chan Sung Jung. So I think the fight will be staying on the feet for 5 straight rounds again. I think the fight is going to be a decision win for one of these two guys right here. Chan Sung Jung keeping the fight at range, just popping him in and popping him out over and over again. As Dan Ige is coming closer, Dan Ige needs to close the distance and defend the strikes. The counter strikes from Chan Sung Jung. I don't know if he's going to do that. It's a thing. I mean, there's one thing to just say that Dan Ige needs to go out there and defend the strikes. The counter punching from Chan Sung Jung. And there's a different thing to him actually doing that. I mean, it's a very hard thing to defend those counter strikes from Chan Sung Jung, because he's such a good counter striker, of course. But right here, I don't know Dan Ige. I don't know. It's a 50-50 fight on the betting odds right there. I mean, right now they have him as a favorite on Chan Sung Jung. Personally, the only bet I would make would be a Chan Sung Jung winning the fight, just straight up minus 102 right there, even money odds. My prediction would be Chan Sung Jung winning the fight by decision. The odds on that, I believe, are absolutely insane. Let's check right there. Chan Sung Jung by decision is probably going to be something absolutely crazy. Plus 300, I don't like the value on that. Only 3-1 odds. I think it should be way more than that. So For this fight right here, I probably just do a straight bet on Chan Sung Jung in my opinion. I think his counter-punching abilities is going to be a lot better. And as the fight does go on in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round, Chan Sung Jung is going to look a lot better. He's been in a lot of 5-round wars with Jose Aldo, Yair Rodriguez, all those type of guys. So I think he has that experience, the cardio, and he's so good in the later rounds that he's just going to he's going to out cardio Dan Ige in the later rounds. Dan Ige said in the press conferences, or not the press conferences, in an interview that I watched earlier today, he wants a war. And if you want a war with a guy like Chan Sung Jung, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. A war with Chan Sung Jung is a death sentence. I'm saying that right now. So I think Chan Sung Jung is going to out-counter Dan Ige when he's coming in to land his combinations. And overall, I think the fight goes all the way. Again, good possibility we see a knockout, but I think the fight goes all the way. And Chan Sung Jung goes out there, out-counters him, and wins the fight. 48-47. I think it's going to be a really, really close fight. In the 4th and 5th round, I think he's going to come back and absolutely do really, really good in those later rounds. So my prediction right here, Chan Sung Jung winning this fight by a decision. Amazing fight in the featherweight division. Absolute banger, especially if the fight goes all the way. I mean, I cannot wait. Dan Ige, Chan Sung Jung, amazing fight. Can't wait for this fight to happen. But yeah, my prediction, Chan Sung Jung winning that fight by decision right there. Should be an amazing, amazing fight in the featherweight division. But overall, amazing fight card. I mean, Chan Sung Jung, Dan Ige, all these fights right here. I'll give you my full card prediction. For those of you that missed my full card prediction, I got Chan Sung Jung winning his fight, Sergey Spivak winning his fight, Marlon Cheeto Vera winning his fight, Julian Rosa winning his fight, Bruno Silva winning his fight right there, Diego Lima winning his fight, Aleksandar Moro winning his fight, Kanaka Murata winning her fight, Chaos Williams winning his fight, Parisian winning his fight, Joaquin Silva winning his fight, and Lara Procopio winning his fight right there. Thank you guys for watching the video. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and everything like that, and we'll see you in the next video. Let's go.